Yo, what's happening, everybody? How you guys doing? Everybody good out there? We see you guys all hanging out in the chat. Welcome to a special edition summer solstice episode.
Hello.
I'm your host, Mikey, and of course, the bro host, Bub.
First day of summer.
First day of summer.
Bring it.
A lot to celebrate here.
I got burnt.
We're going to try to be wrapped with this right before night shift, Hollow Skies night shift, and then also you guys can go out and see the summer solstice sunset. So hopefully we'll line it up. You guys can go peek out, check out the sunset, and go hit Hollow Skies night shift.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
But, yo, what's up, everybody? Stoner's dad, Necro, Flutz, Cryptids of the Corn, welcome. My brother John, Backyard TV, guys.
Every time, though, I see John Riley, I read it as John C. Riley, and I'm like, holy shit, John C. Riley's in here. And then I'm like, it's not John C. Riley, but you know what? I can still think that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, John, you're John C. Riley to me.
Yeah, that's brother John. Justin Lamb, what's happening? Jay Lamb, everybody.
Beam me down, Mikey.
Beam me down, Mikey. That's
Hey, big props to him, by the way.
Yeah.
Because
Special
Papa Santa Stoner.
Yeah.
Tell him.
So Papa Stoner dropped us off a little gift with the this amazing banner that's going to be the background for the live podcast that we're doing.
It is
a big
fantastic.
Strange Road banner. And then we can use that and take that, to conferences, and we'll be able to use that for so many different things. But
until we get the Strange Road like bat signal that shoots, the Strange Road across the sky.
Yep, exactly.
We've got now the banner for the Strange Road to be that calling card mark of people. If we're at events
great.
And stuff, it's super awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, appreciate that, Pop Stoner.
What up, Mopar
Phil?
Phil?
Turned out great. Mopar Phil, what's happening?
Arcadius,
hello.
What up,
Flutz, everybody. This is good. This is going to be a good one, guys. We've been we didn't do a Strange Happenings last week, but there's so much that's happened in the last 2 weeks since we did our last Strange Happenings episode. We thought we'd just kind of pile up everything that's been happening with the Grusch coming out and speaking.
Yeah.
Did we forget to thank Stoner, the Loner, in Master Control?
I don't know if we did say Stoner, the Loner, in
Stoner,
Master Control, but
thank you to Stoner, the Loner.
Him.
Disbro's not with us tonight.
I did have a
but
question.
With us in spirit.
I did have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe you could be one of three. Do you want to be Danny, Joey, or Jesse?
Jesse, of course.
You want to be Jesse?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Who should I be, Joey or Danny?
You're definitely Joey.
Okay, I'll be Joey. Because we got a full house. We got so many people in the chat.
Yeah, we do.
Sorry,
we
but
do.
I love references. So, I guess Stoner could be Danny Tanner.
Stoner's the
tonight.
dad. Yeah, he's the dad tonight.
Man.
Keeping everybody in line. Keeping you on track, Bub. Well, that's actually my job. Maybe I'm Danny. I think I'm Danny. I want to be the cool Jesse, but I'm actually Danny. God damn it. Well,
that makes Stoner Jesse and then me Joey.
Yeah, so kind of talking a little bit, bringing up the banner and Stoner's dad hooking us up with that. We're going to be out at Serpent Mound.
Really appreciate that.
Helping them friends of Serpent Mound this weekend.
Can't wait.
We're going to be doing some records. We're going to be doing a live podcast at 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be an hour. We're going to zone in on the world famous Serpent Mound crop circle with Jeffrey Wilson.
Hello.
So last couple of days been
give us a little bit of just a little insight on it.
So if
people don't know about the
if you Google Serpent Mound crop circle, a bunch of images of this wildly, really interesting geometric structure that looks like it has an eye at the top.
It does look like an eye at the top.
It's been photographed. Jeffrey, just so happens, is the most famous photo that you'll see Jeffrey took from a plane.
Right.
So his group was called in by Jeffrey's now wife, Delcy, who we had on the show last week.
Yeah.
We did the premiere last Thursday with them, and that's how they met. They met at the Serpent Mound Crop Circle, and she got a hold of his.
Did you guys meet at the high school dance?
No.
Crop Circle.
Crop Circle.
Gotcha.
Tom has also talked about his perspective. Tom was around during those in 2003 as well.
Uh-huh.
Tom had his own story about visiting the crop circle and his experience.
The energy he felt inside of it. Yeah.
That's one of the clips we have up on our YouTube channel. Go check that out.
Yeah.
From Tom's perspective, it's cool because Jeff's story and Delcy's story intermingle so much and corroborate each other that it's. And then there's also a Round Town UFO researching group was down there. Jeffrey's been telling me, and a few other folks, that these guys are, one guy's in his 80s now, but is still kind of, open, maybe willing to chat.
Oh, God.
And so the 20th anniversary of the Serpent Mound Crop Circle is August 24th of this year.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, I really would love to put together something where maybe we track down some of these people that.
And didn't he say something like after that crop circle, like they basically stopped?
There was never another crop circle around Serpent Mound or Ohio. It did slow down, kind of.
Said it like basically it was just this. Kind of like turned the thing off.
We had one a couple weeks ago on a Strange Happenings.
That's what I'm saying.
In the United Kingdom.
If it's coming back, it's the 20th anniversary.
Wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't that be wild? And also, there is some things that with that crop circle and some old footage, perhaps, that might be out there that I've learned about recently. So keep an eye out for that.
We did hear about
There's someone that filmed something that maybe eventually be able to be seen, or maybe, who knows, we might have the opportunity to see it or show it at some point.
All I can hear in my head right now is Daft Punk and thinking about like a UFO with like ETs, like just singing One More Time, coming back to Earth to like, we're gonna make crop circles all right. We'll smash your crops down one more time.
Wow, that was good. That blew my mind a little, Bub.
That's literally what's happening.
And I had the music in my head the whole time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We're on the same page.
That's what I'm saying. Just so when you guys out there are wondering what's going on and where am I at, I'm with you. I don't know. Sometimes I get a little bit distracted.
That's right. And if you guys are out, we're trying to get Bub up to play some music out at the
I did restring my guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know that many songs anymore.
Don't forget to bring your guitar.
I learned Slow Cheetah by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's a cool one. That's a really easy tune.
Yeah.
And it's fun. We'll jam. We're definitely going to have some fun.
Yeah. So come check that out. The event is the 23rd through the 25th.
Yep.
Come hang out with us if you guys are in the area.
Say hi if you're out there.
It's free.
Say hi. Free event. We're going to have some stickers out there. We don't have that much swag yet, but we've got a lot of stories, and we like to hear stories, and we'd love to meet you and say what's up.
Yep. So
the closest campground was the nudist one. Is it really?
Probably. Yeah, there's some strange stuff. I mean, there's Airbnbs out there. There's some. It's the closest town.
Well, depending on how hot it is, I might stay at that campground.
Yeah, and it's not a camping event, just so you guys know. Like, you do have to have accommodations and
true story.
So that's definitely a thing to consider.
Maybe check out the Friends of the Serpent Mound Facebook.
Yeah, there's a lot more information. Serpentmound.org. We have links in some of our previous videos of all the event info. Check out our Facebook group, our Facebook page. We have posts there. If you guys need more info, check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've checked the boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to jump in?
Dive in?
Yeah, let's do it. We can start. So, really, we're for this episode, we thought it'd be cool to kind of just break down things as they've been sort of unfolding. Especially starting with the this massive whistleblower event, and it's a former intelligence official turned whistleblower, and this guy really has David Charles Grusch, age 36. He's kind of leading the charge.
Yeah,
and I feel like this is going to be just the beginning of these secret projects. For what he's saying, and we'll get into it, these projects have been going on, admittedly, for going back to Navy intelligence, during the Second World War, and the secret craft and everything they've been hiding. And, in a Strange Happenings episode, we've talked about the Whistleblower Act a few episodes ago.
Right.
And how maybe that was going to start allowing people to come forward. Maybe they won't be persecuted like they were, and their lives ruined. So here you go.
Well, see, generally whistleblowers are not met with kindness or credibility. It's usually people are skeptical.
The tip of the spear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he basically, the Congress, the intelligence community inspector general, gave them classified information about deep covert programs that he says possesses and retrieved intact and partially intact craft of non-human origin.
Question, real quick. Wasn't this being talked about in the news at a light level maybe a couple months ago about how we, the global we, I don't even know who we, some government has retrieved crashed?
Yes.
Like that was like a floating storyline, right? Like, but it was just, it never really went anywhere. Do you think this
was it, I think.
Was the, like, before he went full go, he was like just telling people and he's like, no, you can't use my name. And I'm sure as the story unfolds, right? Like,
in 2021, he gave reports, and we can get into that, but he gave reports to these congressional hearings and gave full reports on a lot of these things. And from there started getting frustrated because it's like, hey, you're bringing me in to make this public, and it's not happening, and it's not happening.
Not going anywhere, right.
And so they've been battling in courts, and this whistleblower act gets passed. Now he has the protection where, Newsweek, or I'm sorry, the debrief. So, we should just say the Leslie Keane and Ralph Blumenthal wrote this article. The debrief got the exclusive. And then a lot of people have been covering it since then, but this was all released on June 5th. And so the debrief kind of got the scoop on it. And since then, I believe it's News Nation has covered it as well. But there's been, both of these groups of organizations have been kind of leading the charge of breaking the story.
Right.
So it just really came out, but in April already is when they finally got approval. He got approval to talk about this stuff. So the debrief, this is a long game. Yeah. They've been waiting to come out with this story. And it's taken tons and tons of work. And, just a heads up, Leslie Keane, she was the person that was involved in the 2017 New York Times article, which I personally think, if you look back to all the disclosure, started then.
Okay.
That article right before Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving.
What? Okay, I'm not familiar.
Well, it just talked about the secret programs, the ATIP program.
Everybody whispers about this kind of stuff, though. Again,
but AARO is the new ATIP program.
Right.
And that's where they talked about Commander Fravor and some other people, and then all of a sudden Commander Fravor goes on Joe Rogan. And
still wild.
Slowly, all these other military guys start coming out, and then you have, we don't even have it really in the article, but the Disclosure 2.0 event that Stephen Greer had last week, which we could all ties into this. He had some big guys up there.
That's what I said. It just feels like the heat. It just feels like the heat is so turned up.
Unbelievable, like talking about Raytheon and these black op, like military industrial contracts that suck trillions of dollars in these secret programs where they have potentially off-world technology already, some of these corporations. And, that was a part of that debrief.
I saw something linking this whole thing back to Gary McKinnon again.
Yes.
Right? He's coming back up now.
He's coming back up now. If you're in the chat, she talked to us about Gary McKinnon on her show.
Yeah.
And then we had somebody here that's a new Instagram follower that hit me up.
Oh, okay.
And he was telling me about Gary McKinnon.
Gary McKinnon's one of the OGs of blowing the lid off of the fact that that whole like breakaway secret space program. Right.
But it was also kind of a story of another guy that we're aware of that also claims to have a secret space program,
but not that one.
Tried to copyright it. I don't even want to mention his name.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. But it's the one with action figures. I don't mean that secret space program. I mean
the blue avian space program.
Blue chickens. I don't need that. I'm saying that, again, McKinnon basically found these, I don't know what they're called, a manifest of like,
they're like notes
of crew of these ships or off-world craft.
Yeah.
And again, not saying they're extraterrestrials piloting them, but a, quote unquote astronaut is an extraterrestrial, or they're now living off the world at this moment. That's what that means, right? That's what we're talking about. So being in a ship off of the world, you would be a ET officer, but you'd still be a person. You're not an alien at that level. But I think we have that already. I think maybe if we've got all that going on, then we've got CERN, you know, and Large Hadron Colliders, and we can make small black holes, and we probably have all these weird hyperdrive and scramjets and ramjets and like they just got Willy Wonka's factory of, you know,
but this
time
is specific to, and you know, the thing has always been, well, it's all of our stuff. We just have really advanced stuff. David Grusch is saying that no, this is off-world technology.
Right.
We've recovered assets for over 60 years, for 80 years with all of these crashes. It's all documented.
He comes with some pretty high regards, too.
I mean, let's read these off, okay? Just so
He's got some
you're not aware of this guy,
which I didn't know. A lot of this. I got to say, there's so much that happens all the time. You find something that you dig into. I find something I dig into. He's
36 years old, and he's accomplished more than any of us probably in this life. Like, this guy is highly, highly decorated. Decorated former combat officer in Afghanistan, is a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, or NGA, and the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO, which, you know, these are these three-letter organizations. This guy, from 2016 to 2021, he served with the NRO as a senior intelligence officer and led the production of basically the NRO's director in daily briefings. So he led the briefings for the NRO.
Right.
You know, he's considered a GS-15 civilian, which is a military equivalent of a colonel. The Reconnaissance Office representatives to the UA PT Task Force from 2019 to 2021, and then from 2021 to July of 2022, which is you know, just last year.
Right.
He was the NGA's co-leader for UAP analysis and its representative to the task force.
Right.
National Geospatial Intelligence Agency served as Senior Intelligence Capabilities Integration Officer, cleared at the top secret and secret compartmented information level, and was the agency's Senior Technical Advisor for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Analysis in the Transmedium issues, which is craft that go into the water.
So, or like Dennis Stone saying in his interview the other week, that he saw a UFO drop into the earth and not into a hole,
but
transmuted through solid rock.
Right.
He was like, that's the only thing it could. There was nowhere else for it to go. Like it had to have done. And I don't know if you have this one in there, but this retired Army colonel, recently retired Carl Neal.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
All these guys vouch for him.
Yeah. He said he worked with him on the UAP task force from 2021 to 2022. And said while Grusch was there, characterized his work as beyond reproach.
Beyond reproach.
That's pretty high marks.
And other people have come out.
My wife would not say that about my dishwashing capabilities.
No. You know, this senator, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, but, you know, we'll get to that here in a minute. But a lot of people have come out and is like, oh, this guy's the man. I mean, the credibility.
This comment also, the fact that these beings are potentially from another dimension, not completely otherworldly, is awesome.
I have always felt that.
Maybe the Doctor Strange multiverse and all the...
makes sense.
Think about that in the movie world, how that agenda's been being pushed in the comics and stuff, because we have never seen that kind of a paradigm in movies other than maybe like certain time slips or time traveling, but the whole kind of like there's a multiverse and there's all these different possible realities of everybody. You know, there's a million versions of me and there's a million versions of Mike where, you know, he's a scuba instructor and he's also, you know,
that'd be awesome.
One of the best, you know,
Jamaica.
Skydiving pilots, or, you know, it's just crazy to think about. Like,
crop dusters.
Yeah.
Could be a crop duster.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. That's a hard job. You got to be a good pilot.
But yeah, you know, Grusch, in these documents, he basically has been trying to come out and he's been giving these reports, and finally he's just kind of had enough. This is a filed complaint with the United States government where he's literally explaining all of these things to them, and says the recoveries of partial fragments through and up to intact vehicles have been made for decades through the present day by the government, its allies, and defense contractors. Analysis has determined that the objects retrieved are of exotic origin or non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin. based on the vehicle's morphologies and the material science testing in the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures, he said.
Jesus.
And this is all on record. The statement basically has been cleared in April for open publication. They cleared him to talk about this. April 4th and 6th, he gets cleared. Eventually, obviously, it takes time. And then he gives his first interview to the debrief. And now, really, I'm not sure how many days ago, he did his first interview with News Nation and came out and spoke. I believe that was 4 days ago, which we'll get into. We have a little clip on YouTube that we're going to play back.
Not kidding, man.
Where we hear Grusch speak.
It's all building up.
This is...
I'm not kidding. Joel might have been dead on the money.
Yeah,
so long ago.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
It really does. It just...
Hey,
like
local legends, Burton.
In a couple months, from now, they'll just be like, yep, aliens are here and they're real. And maybe it's Project Bluebeam and maybe it's really aliens. Who knows? Right? I mean, it's just insane.
Well,
what's
so
are you going?
Grusch's disclosures and those of non-public witnesses under the new protective provisions, which we talked about.
Right.
This is all what made this happen. It's basically the Defense Appropriations Bill. It's a signal. It signals growing determination for people to now start coming out, and it's going to unravel. According to Grusch, he calls it unraveling a colossal enigma with the national security implications. This has national security implications.
Well, I'm sure it does.
And that's why...
If not just meteors are falling from the sky, but it literally is UFOs coming down from time to time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Something's afoot.
So he says for many decades, the United States Air Force and others, the Navy, have carried out massive disinformation campaigns.
Sure.
Highly documented, and also using the media and other groups to discredit people that came out and talked about this, i.e. Bob Lazar got murdered in the press. That guy couldn't get a job. Not only that, they said that he never graduated from MIT, that he never worked at the laboratory in New Mexico. They totally ruined Bob Lazar's life. It took forever for that guy. He ended up starting his own company.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The FBI has raided this guy's house, stealing his inventions, stealing documents of things that he's created, making his life a miserable hell. That's why this has national security implications, because there's people... You've ruined people's lives over these last, 80
Bob's
years.
Bob's just the most widely known one. Think of all the Joe Schmoes of the world.
Well,
and
Colonel Corso, he was kind of the first one.
I'm just saying people like, say, if it was you or I, because they do it to regular people too that get onto it a little bit too much. I've heard stories of that where like
meteorologists.
I listened to somebody that was a disinformation agent talking about one of the people that he worked on and like would feed him all of this bogus, oh, you're right about that, Charlie. Yeah, that wasn't, because they're trying to hide, at that time, his take on it was they were hiding, just sensitive aircraft, right? Like if somebody saw it, then they would go, oh, yeah, you did see a UFO because that's what we want you to believe. Yeah. But maybe they do see it. I mean, like Bob was taking people out there and they'd be like,
that's
we were watching the UFOs.
That's they got caught. He got caught doing that. They showed up on site and he had like a viewing party with popcorn and snacks, or I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Could you imagine?
He got busted.
You imagine?
He got fired and he never returned.
You imagine being in the desert with Bob Lazar and whoever else it was, like was it John Lear and whoever else it was?
Eventually, George Knapp got a hold of the story. And
I'm saying, imagine if you're in that crew and like you get some people rolling up with AR-15s and tactical gear on and throw you in a van and
that's the story
zip tie your wrist.
Well, they didn't abduct him or kidnap him, but it was very much more than unpolitely like get the hell off of this ridge and go home. Yeah. And then tomorrow you don't have a job. Not only that, but the records of you even attending MIT have somehow disappeared.
That's the craziest part.
And your education record is completely gone.
Yeah. So that's a real thing too. You can, definitely wipe out somebody's existence. I think I mentioned the one time in the show, like there are very wealthy, famous people, and people that don't want you to know who they are, that you can't find them on the internet. They have literally wiped
the black nobility.
They scrubbed themselves
kind of
completely off of there. Yeah.
Yeah. The big, powerful bankers, you don't know their names.
No.
You know the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all these names, but you don't know.
You're allowed to know those names.
Yeah. Those are just that's like the CEO. You know, they're the upfront name that's public.
They're the PR group.
So interesting here. Jonathan Gray, who is a generational officer of the United States intelligence community. This guy's had top secret clearances. This is what Jonathan Gray had to say. The non-human intelligence phenomenon is real. We are not alone, Gray said. Retrievals of this kind are not limited to the United States. This is a global phenomenon, and yet a global solution continues to elude us.
I don't understand. Did you see how long that took me for me to process that? Like, what's the problem here?
He said he reported to Congress on the existence for decades. Publicly unknown Cold War is what he calls this. It's a Cold War for recovered and exploited physical material. It's essentially a race. It's this arms war. It's totally a race.
It's like a game of spoons.
Okay.
It's like a game. Let me give you this analogy.
Oh, boy.
Is anybody out there that if you're watching, listening?
We played a lot of spoons.
You ever played the game Spoons, the card game? You know, you have cards going around the table. I don't know how many cards you have in your hand. Like 4 in your hand.
Doesn't get a spoon loses, right?
But you got to get 4 of a kind, and then it's like a game of musical chairs. There's less spoons than the number of people. So whoever gets that first hand of 4, you don't like the way we play it. You don't want to just grab it in front of everybody. You keep passing the card, and then you like grab a spoon while you're doing it. You do it sneaky.
Yeah.
And then you keep playing. And you watch everybody else keep playing. And then you watch somebody else figure out that you did that. And then they sneak a spoon. And then finally, though, at the end, everybody's rushing and grabbing a spoon because everybody's realized what's going on.
Like slapjack.
That's where we're at with the UFO UAP rebranding, because we're going to bring them out as UAPs now. And we're going to start talking about it more. And we're going to have whistleblowers. And we're going to make it okay for worse. Telling you, man, this is coming down the pipe.
David Grusch just said,
coming down the pipe.
David Grusch just said, slapjack, bitch. You know?
He's Yahtzee.
This article is so freaking long, guys. You should go through and read the whole thing.
This is kind of how it turned into a special.
I'm trying to bullet it out. We're probably not going to get to all the bullets.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
try to take it as well as we can.
You know,
really...
we have a video, too, that we're going to play that really, I think this News Nation piece does a great job of breaking this down. But, you know, again and again, these folks are coming out now. This is 3 weeks or 4 weeks now. More and more people are coming out. You know, he leaves the government April 7th to set this all up. He's been very smart about how he's come out with this.
Yeah, he's no dummy.
You know, they're taking their time. So April 7th, he leaves the government, and then here we are in
maybe that's well
late
calculated
mid-June.
too. Maybe he's like, you know what? I have to take this opportunity. And I like, even with Bob Lazar, when Bob did it, when he did his like interview and like exposed all of that, it was very much like, there was a lot going on. He was worried that he might be taken out for doing it. And it was kind of like, well, do you want to or do you not? And so maybe this guy having enough of that knowledge base of people over the years of, you know, if you try to do it the right way, does it work out? If you start releasing it slowly, how far do you get before nobody knows where you're at anymore?
But they went from nothing to, you know, I talk about the disclosure event.
Going for the home run.
You know, in 2019, in a lot of ways, it started with that event that we were a part of, the dimensions of disclosure and some of those events that were kind of happening around that time. And then from there, it really picked up. But it's really just this year. This year has been a bullet train of information compared to the last, 10 years total?
Yeah. That's why I keep thinking this is like a mirage in the desert. Like, is this real?
Remember when we started covering this, the very first Strange Happenings, we talked about Pentagon UFO reports or something. First few.
Oh, yeah.
We've been.
It's only accelerated.
Kind of. We've had our ear to the ground.
Balloons everywhere. There were UFOs over Russia. There was possible, UFOs at nuclear sites there.
Every episode we've had a UFO, Pentagon-related, government-related show. I mean, is there a single Strange Happenings that we haven't talked about?
A UFO?
A UAP?
I don't know.
Or government?
It'd be tough. We'd have to go back.
Who knows?
We don't have a statistician for that, but
we don't.
We'll look into it.
I'm just really talking out of my ass.
Maybe ask Jeeves or like Chat GPT that shit.
Jesus. He went from 1990 to technology to 2023. That's a big jump. You just skipped Google. Ask Jeeves. Go Yahoo it.
He just skipped Google.
Yeah.
Sorry, Google.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to snub you on that. You're still a good search engine, but you spy on everyone.
So here's a quote from Grusch real quick, and we can kind of move on. His assertion concerning the existence of terrestrial arms race occurring sub rosa over the last, it rose over the last past 80 years focused on reverse engineering technologies of unknown origin is fundamentally correct, as it is the indisputable realization that at least some of these technologies of unknown origin derive from non-human intelligence.
Oh, boy.
That's what Carl Neal said, your boy. Retired U.S. Army Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence.
Colonel.
These guys are big time, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, hey, aliens are real.
I think the message is starting to get up the chain more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it formerly was, it was seen, heard, reported, but it didn't ever get up to a high enough level that it shook the right cage or rattled the right person to action. And so, I don't know. That's what I say. Like, I got to reserve my enthusiasm. Like my dog seeing me open the front door, and I don't mean to take him for a walk. He's like, I got excited for nothing. So I'm happy to see movement, though. And this is not just movement. I mean, these are superiorly big claims.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
as confirmatory as any of anybody's suspicions of what we thought has been going on. Like I said, everybody knows it. It's not like in The Wizard of Oz where we're like, oh, God, there was a guy behind the curtain.
We've known this forever.
We've seen The Wizard of Oz. We know that's what's going on. Like, you guys shouldn't have made that movie and told us that's how the game works. Right? You gave away the secret.
Yeah.
This is why, as a parent, when I realized my parents,
it all back.
Yeah, and not that my parents are bad, but the whole like you need to go to bed or you need to do this and that. When they wouldn't do the same thing, I realized they were telling me one thing and they were doing another thing, and that's when I was like, you're not telling me the truth,
right?
So I'm not listening anymore.
And Laura Potter says he's an officer with the strongest possible moral compass. Grusch.
Again, that's
and also
pretty
NASIC,
high remarks.
These gentlemen that we talked about earlier involved with NASIC, which is headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
WPAFB.
Which is the Department of Defense's primary Air Force source for foreign air and space threat analysis. Its mission is to discover and characterize air, space, missile, and cyber threats. According to the agency's website, the center's team is trusted subject matter experts deliver unique collection, exploitation, and analytic capabilities not found elsewhere.
Jeez.
So there you go, right, Pat? Jonathan Gray. Jonathan Gray says this should no longer remain a secret. Boom.
Bring it out in the light. That's the only way we're going to resolve all this.
Yep.
Let's get it out there and give it a good wash in the sun.
We wanted to play this interview, this piece with News Nation, which is kind of a breakdown with Grusch's interview. They got the special. As far as I know, this is the only interview that he's done is with News Nation. So, Stone, if you want to roll that.
We'll see if more doesn't come about.
Yeah.
Grusch sat down with investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who is reporting for News Nation on the bombshell whistleblower complaint filed with Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General. According to the complaint, in July 2021, Mr. Grusch confidentially provided UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena related classified information, to the Department of Defense Inspector General. At that time, Mr. Grusch communicated classified information about the improper withholding and or concealment of classified material from the U.S. Congress by certain IC elements. News Nation has confirmed Grusch's credentials, but he says he can't show us the proof of the alien craft for national security reasons. In a somewhat frightening revelation, Grusch claims the non-human species may not be friendly.
I've been told that there have been attempts to bring down craft, that we've acted offensively against non-human craft.
There have been instances, and there are certain techniques.
Have human beings been hurt or killed by a non-human intelligence?
Pause for a second. This is what we're
look at his face. He's just about to fire back. He's like,
this is the implications for national security is because they have to admit that there's been
there's a threat.
Does it go back to, is there a real threat, or are they trying to scare us? Is this legit? Like, are we going after them, or they're attacking us? I have a feeling we're going after them, or we're trying to shoot them down.
That I don't know.
That's not going to bode well. Dude.
That I don't know. If we're attacked, who knows what's going on there?
Well, let's hit play. I'm just saying the implications.
I can't get into the specifics because that would reveal certain U.S. classified operations. I was briefed by a few individuals on the program that there were malevolent events like that.
Grusch says he has to be careful about providing detail.
So he
shared this letter with us from the Department of Defense giving him permission to do the interview with News Nation. It says the interview questions are approved for public release. However, this approval does not include any photograph, picture, exhibit, caption, or other supplemental material not specifically approved by this office. Our concurrence for release does not imply DoD endorsement or factual accuracy of the material. Grusch says the United States is not the only country that has encountered non-human intelligence. He says our geopolitical rivals have their own crash retrieval programs.
We're in a competition with their adversaries to understand this.
That's the Cold War he's talking about.
It's a multi-decade Cold War.
Everyone's had their projects.
It's been under our nose for so long. And, there is no good way to level the playing field and hold other nation states accountable if they're doing unethical or illicit activity as it relates to the subject. And I think the obtuse secrecy is actually putting us in a very dangerous position where a country might make a breakthrough. Let's say it's an adversary of ours. And it is so destabilizing.
The secrecy is the main reason Grusch says he is coming forward. He's concerned Congress is being kept in the dark, and it's a matter of national security.
Oh, my goodness.
This is not a question.
Holy cow. Like, that's got me, like...
This is freaking a huge deal. And just so happens... I mean, there's been so much that just all of a sudden, magically, like, all these other things are happening right around this big, giant... I don't think people... In 5 years, you're going to realize how big of a deal this is. Right now, I think it's just hitting you.
Yeah. I think so, because like it's blowing my mind like this. I think you guys said it yesterday, like something equivalent like this is like kind of like our Roswell.
Well, we haven't gotten to that yet. The Las Vegas crash.
That's another part of it.
The Roswell
that's the part of it. This is the other part of it. Mm-hmm. This is kind of like the whole like article with who's the guy holding up the materials? What's his name? The colonel, the Air Force guy.
Martel or
Marcel or
I don't know.
Who's the family?
Anybody in the chat?
The kids and his dad, the guy that went to the retrieval.
Right.
I can't think of it. I can't think of it. Marcel or whatever it is. It's something like that. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is kind of like that, tying it all together. Like, yes, Roswell happened, and here's the person that can actually corroborate it. So yeah, sorry, I did jump. I jumped the gun a little bit.
No, it's all good.
Jump the shark.
We're getting to it. This is exciting. Yesterday, I mean, we had our meeting about this episode, and I think like, I don't know if like maybe it was all hitting us, but I think you realize how like all of this kind of, it's taken 2 weeks to sort of try to follow all this and put it all together.
Yeah.
Because there's been so much written and so much said and a lot of other podcasts. Are we late to the game talking about this in this episode? I don't think, because there was still stuff coming out about this this week on Monday. So there's more.
I'm sure it's going to develop
everything
too, as we keep watching it too. You know, there's going to be one that keeps coming out.
Right, exactly.
Continually.
But I think we can move on from that video. You get the gist. But I just wanted everybody to kind of hear David Grusch and hear some of the sound bites. If you want to go, the full interview is really hard to find. It's not on News Nation's official YouTube channel. But somebody, I think, had screen captured it and put it up on, like, there's a UFO YouTube channel that had, I mean, I think it's like 45 minutes long. Like, the full interview is insanely long.
Okay.
But who knows? I haven't watched the whole thing. But, you know, links are going to be in the description after the show. You guys can check all this stuff out. This next one is a Newsweek article that we have...
Jesse Marcel. See, I thought it was Marcel or Martel, but
where did you see
it was that whole?
Yeah, thank you.
Is that a whole? You know, Samson, Swanson, Swinson, Samsonite. It was on the briefcase.
Swami,
Swanson, Swanson.
Samsonite.
Samsonite. I was way off.
Name of the luggage.
Marcel, thank you, Necro. I have a present for the studio next week.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Hey, super secret announcement.
Love that.
We might have Justin J from Crypt is in the Corn in studio. Is it next week? The week after? Anyways, you'll be seeing some things. I don't want to give a date just in case.
I think it is.
We've, yeah, so.
I'm not the date guy.
You're definitely not the date guy.
I'm not the date guy.
Yeah, you're the, I need to tell you, hey, make sure you know about this date guy.
Yeah, or get in your chair.
Yeah. Sit down, bub.
Get in the chair.
So.
You should just hide a trail of candy to the chair.
Thank you. You guys didn't have to do that. We got a little present for the studio coming from Justin and Jake.
That's cool.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
Appreciate that. And Mopar Phil, any of you guys, I know, was it Mopar Phil talking about coming out? Or was that Dick Meadows
to the
talking about coming out to the event this weekend?
To the event? Yeah, I don't remember. I'd have to.
But
back at the comments.
So this Newsweek article, Senator Josh Hawley, this is really just his briefings that he's been a part of as this central, the Senate Intelligence Committee that's been being briefed since it sounds like 2021 on all these different projects and things. And he's saying, hey, Grusch, this is everything we're seeing too. This is all the inside meetings I've been a part of. This is above board. Everything shakes out.
I'm saying he's got a lot of credibility behind his name right now too.
Yep.
It's not like, oh, who is this Yahoo? And he was, dishonorably discharged or something crazy like that. Like he's performed in some very high tense environments and again,
even though Josh Hawley's in on these meetings, he was still shocked by everything Grusch said. He's like, yeah, that checks out and that's some of the things, but whoa, hold on. The implications and the way the amount of things that he's talking about, I don't think this
any clue.
I don't think he's been briefed on a bunch of things. He said he was disturbed by the cover-up of non-human intelligence, and that cover-up remains. That's the big takeaway from Josh Hawley there. Kind of a short one there, but this next one is a tweet that you had found.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just to kind of connect all the dots with all kinds of governments and people in government.
Yeah.
And other countries now are coming out as well. So this is
this is from Larry McGuire, an MP in the Canadian
and shout out to Paranormality Podcast for tweeting this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We came across this.
Yeah.
So
this was March 22nd of this year, and it's a letter addressed to the minister Anand. And it says, it has come to my attention through meetings with American officials that the United States Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and Senate Committee on Armed Services have been undertaking in-camera hearings with government and military subject matter experts on the recovery and exploitation of physical material from unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. I am concerned that expected upcoming public announcements will be coordinated between AUKUS, which could damage Canada's credibility with our allies and the Canadian public on the global stage. Mm-hmm. There's an opportunity to have a prepared communication plan in place by May 2023 to reduce the risk.
Yep.
As Minister of National Defense, you may not be aware Defense Research and Development Canada has participated in efforts to analyze UAP, which is publicly traceable to circa 1950. Mm-hmm. This recovered foreign material is studied through the Five Eyes Foreign Material Program, which in Canada is sponsored by the Canadian Forces Intelligence Command, aligned with several intelligence sharing arrangements and treaties. I'm writing to recommend you request a classified briefing containing full sensitive and protected program information from your officials on the Government of Canada's historical and ongoing efforts on analyzing recovered UAP material.
Left and right.
That's not even the whole letter, but that's just drop the mic right there.
Yeah.
Everybody's starting to
And this was
ask
an internal letter that just got released. So this is obviously
Paul Hellyer.
This happened in March.
Defense Ministry of Defense for Canada, right? Paul Hellyer.
Yeah.
So when we start saying there, like even with Grusch, I'm not saying he's not
above board,
right? But we're saying like this first whistle. Maybe it's the first one that's getting more traction or credibility than when we've We've heard a lot of these stories over the years.
But they've been discredited within a news cycle. They're out of the news cycle. They're a kook.
No.
I mean
the old ones, the Pale Horse with Bill Cooper.
Bill Cooper.
Stuff like that. Where
he lost credibility, though, Bill Cooper, over the years. He kind of said one thing and backtracked, and
did he?
He was inconsistent over time.
I don't know
with what he.
I guess what I'm trying to allude to is I think there are over the years many who try to come forward.
Yeah,
don't know how to go about it.
But I do believe that Bill Cooper, the FBI, did invade his home and accidentally shoot him and kill him.
Yeah,
I really do think Bill Cooper died that way.
Probably,
even though some of the stuff he might have been being misled, and again, a lot of these are psyops.
Well,
they get kind of famous people, writers, and then hey, come in the cool kids club, and then they totally make them look like idiots and discredit them. There's been a guy in a certain pop punk band that some people think might be one of those kind of characters that.
We'll see. Once I did hear somebody make a good point that he doesn't need to do his UFO circuit stuff, whatever you want to call it, for any kind of money. Like the guy they could go sell a tour out every day of the week again.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't do it for money. So I think it's one of those things when you can find out what's the motivating factor. Now again, money's not the motivating factor for everybody. Some people are motivated by other things, but whatever. We'll leave that alone. That's enough on that.
Yeah.
What's next? Do you want to do the
so shout out to Tobias, Singular Fortean, Tobias Wayland and his wife. We covered the last one. Tobias and Emily had a great article that we covered on the last one. So Singular Fortean is quickly becoming one of our go-to strange happenings.
They threw us a doozy this time.
Yeah,
because I started seeing this on Twitter, but I kind of just was like, whatever, okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But a Las Vegas family claiming to have seen alien beings in their backyard after objects fall from the sky.
Yep.
Let's just just breathe on that for a moment.
Yes.
So
this has been a hard one to follow. Number one, when this came out,
June 10th.
This is right. So Singular Fortean,
real recent,
picked up on this story. Some other folks picked up on this story in this actual article, which will have the links.
Yeah.
There's a video embedded into this article.
Yeah.
Where you hear the kid Angel, who's I believe 21 years old and had the 911 call. That we'll kind of get into that,
right?
But his story, and it's about 7 minutes long. We're not going to play that, but we have kind of a breakdown that we're going to go over.
Yeah.
ABC 8 in Las Vegas has been kind of covering this,
keeping track
of this. News Nation has also been covering this. Yeah. News Nation has been covering this, taking this very seriously. And covering David Grusch. Yeah. So News Nation has been...
They're on it.
So
anybody not familiar with this or what we're talking about, a Las Vegas family claims that 2 tall alien beings were seen in their backyard sometime around midnight between April 30th and May 1st of this year. The event began as a large fireball was seen streaking across the sky at around 11:50 p.m. on the 30th of April. Mm-hmm. American Meteor Society... said, according to them, the fireball was spotted by people across eastern California, Nevada, and Utah. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, around the same time as the fireball, a doorbell cam in the same neighborhood as the reported alien sighting captured a loud roar followed by sounds like an impact of some kind.
It's wild. We'll see.
Right?
It. Yep.
So do you want to jump into that now with that setup, or do you want to go a little further?
Yeah, let's go a little bit further.
Okay.
Just until we get to kind of the Angel story.
So there you go. It's 11:50 p.m. on April 30th. I'm not sure what day of the week that is, if it's Friday or Wednesday or whatever. But, fireball comes screeching out of the sky, lands, and then approximately 40 minutes after the fireball, a young person named Angel called 911. He had reportedly been outside with his brother when something crashed in their backyard. And his quote, he said, "There's like an 8-foot tall person beside it and another one inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us and it's still there."
And there's 911 recordings. Like I said, there's police body cams. There is 911 recording. There's another body cam. There's ring footage from doorbell cameras that you see the streak.
Yeah.
So this has all been, and again, this happened in late April, on April 30th, and then the morning of May 1st.
Right.
So Angel hadn't come out until what looked like early June with his video and account, which, essentially, Singular Fortean's kind of, at this point, this is still pretty early on.
Right.
Where they're, putting this story together. But
it's
a lot of things have unfolded. James Fox has weighed in on it.
That's what I'm saying.
Initially, James Fox tweeted that he thought the kid was making it up or had some kind of inclination where he talked to the cop. And one of the police officers had a feeling, but it wasn't the cop that was going around. And, I mean, they had people that the police officer was talking to, these random people in their vehicles, asking them, hey, did you see anything in the sky? Did you see anything crash down?
He got the bug like Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters.
My partner said that he saw it too.
Yeah.
And so there's all these corroborations of other police officers, which will kind of, they break it all that down.
Yeah.
And
that's what the officers say, because Angel did call the cops showed up, and, the officer said, I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too. Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard?
Yeah.
Like, jeez. They did find a circular depression in the
modern
backyard.
day Roswell.
Yeah.
But on social media steroids.
Yep.
There's no TikTok. There's no Instagram.
Witnesses saw a black SUV circling the neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
Not trying to denigrate black SUVs. There's a lot of them on the roads. They're not all nefarious, right? Not all, but most of them are not. But maybe. I mean, I don't know. It just lends credence to the whole like Men in Black and.
So if you scroll down, you'll see Angel's video, and if you guys want to watch his whole kind of spiel, that the account, like I said, he recorded this video. He started his YouTube channel. He has 16,000 subscribers. I think he has one video posted. Congratulations on monetization, young man. That's awesome.
What did he do? He monetized?
Well, he's got to
be monetized.
Quite a few. So he's got 18.6 thousand YouTube subscribers right now.
Oh, geez.
So he posted this on his personal YouTube page.
Good for you.
Go check that out. But we have this video, which I think is great because we're huge fans of George Knapp. George Knapp has been a part of some awesome documentaries and has been a journalist on the cutting edge of, working with Bob Lazar, working with Jeremy Corbell. He's always got his ear to the ground, and this is the Las Vegas 8 News Now, and they were at the front of this story, putting it all together throughout the last couple weeks.
This is the actual ring cam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is what the ring cam Tobias and Emily were referring to.
It was the streak seen across the sky, now seen around the world. This, as our 8 News Now investigators confirm, Metro actually set up cameras at this home where family called 911 claiming to see aliens in their backyard. And tonight, a fierce debate is underway about the legitimacy of an alleged UFO crash. Good evening, I'm Janice Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. Our 8 News Now investigators reporting about terrified members of a local family who told police they had aliens in their backyard.
I read
Chief Investigator George Knapp here to piece it all together.
I read subliminal.
As with all things UFO, the public debate is ferocious and ongoing. Was it all a hoax? Were we duped?
He's the best.
Was it all an evil plot, a cover-up, all of the above? We took another look at the hubbub to separate wheat from chaff.
From chaff.
The fireball captured on a police body cam on the night of April 30th was real. The American Meteor Society says witnesses reported seeing it all across the West, from northeastern Utah to Southern California. Another Las Vegas resident sent us a video of the same object recorded on her home camera.
Investigation by Nexstar station KLAS.
As the story of the Las Vegas incident spread across newscasts and social media, one of NASA's planetary defense officers weighed in to say it was likely a small meteor that fell to Earth hundreds of miles away from Las Vegas. Police videos obtained by 8 News Now indicate Metro officers were among the witnesses.
Illuminati checkerboard.
Said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
The appearance of the meteor seemingly triggered the events that followed. A frightened family called 911 and told police they had 10-foot-tall alien beings in their backyard. Officers responded to the home minutes later, interviewed the witnesses, canvassed the area, and cautiously inspected the backyard to look for intruders. One thing noticed by the officers was a circle in the soil. In conversations with us and in a podcast interview, Angel, the main witness, suggested the circle might have been created when an unknown object landed in the yard. Social media sleuths have since pointed out that the circular image has been viewable via Google Earth for more than a year. The family told us by phone they had seen suspicious vehicles with men in black types checking out their home. Turns out there is substance to that. A retired police officer fessed up on News Nation that he spent days staking out the house to see what, if anything, unfolded. What about those reports that Metro installed a special surveillance camera atop the house, presumably to watch for intruders, human or otherwise, or overzealous media? Turns out that's true as well. Metro confirmed as much in a statement to 8 News Now's David Charnes. The system stayed on the roof for days. What about the Ring camera video with the weird noise?
Yeah,
the main witness, Angel, intimated to us the video was recorded by one of his neighbors, and the audio was from the April 30th UFO crash. It wasn't. The security camera video was recorded in mid-April, according to the man who first posted the clip. He doesn't want his name used, but says the recording was from a fireball that passed over his home in the southwestern part of the valley 2 weeks prior to the alleged alien encounter.
Could it be
the
connected?
family declined to be interviewed by us, but members have spoken elsewhere and stick to their claims of seeing aliens in the backyard. Dozens of people on social media have analyzed and dissected the images with various claims of aliens spotted in the shadows. Police do not believe this was a hoax call, which could be a crime if done intentionally. In the fervid swamp known as UFO world, our coverage of the story was itself seen as a dastardly plot to distract attention away from a prominent whistleblower named David Grusch, who stepped forward around the same time. Grusch unveiled his explosive on-camera account on News Nation, which is owned by the parent company of KLAS. In spite of the local news story, Grusch's story was reported by news media all over the world. Curses foiled again.
All right. So, I mean, so what do you make of this whistleblower, David Grusch?
He first reached out to me about a year ago. We've been in contact ever since. He's the real deal. I mean, he had a distinguished career in the Air Force. Then he went to work for a 3-letter agency you probably haven't heard of, the NGA, which basically tracks everything in space, in the air, in the ocean, under the ocean, on land. They keep track of everything.
Wait a minute. He worked for the NGA.
Security clearances in our government, and in that capacity,
I think we mentioned that.
No, not the NGO. Is it NGO or NGA?
I don't know.
I got to look it up now.
Dude, he's worked for so many 3-letter agencies. The NRO, if that's, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there's so many of these agencies that, you know, we're probably just going to be learning about in the next year or so.
Where is it?
That's the National Reconnaissance Organization. It was one of them, the NRO.
He said something like NGA or NGO. I don't remember what it is. NGA.
What does it stand for?
Well, I don't know. What is it? Well, I'll have to Google it. What is the NGA?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, if it's what I
was reported
if it is what I think it is,
what do you think
over
it
the
is?
world. Curses foiled again.
All right. So, I mean, so what do you make of this
National
whistleblower,
Geospatial Intelligence?
We added that. A year ago. We've been in contact ever
that.
since. He's the real deal. I mean, he had a distinguished career in the Air Force. Then he went to work for a 3-letter agency you probably haven't heard of, the NGA.
NGA. So I have that in the bullets in the notes about the NGA.
Is this the one though? Are they? I want to say the NGA is the group that, when I heard about it, it was something about how like Obama had never even heard of it.
Right.
Like when people first heard about the NSA or the CIA, or
he was the NGA's co-leader for UAP analysis. Representative from July 21st to July 2022.
But what I'm saying is,
or late 2021 to 22. He was the NGA co-leader on UAP. He was the authority essentially for the NGA, which is the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency.
But what I'm saying is, I think that's the group that has those satellites.
It's the compartmentalized, but massively compartmentalized.
But I want to say that's the group that has the satellites, to where like if you're in New York City invisible, they could see you anywhere. Right. As long as you're not in a building without windows or something.
They can read your watch
Oh, they could read. They could read my iWatch from space. Literally 5 miles up, 6 miles up, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's when I had that patient that time.
Oh, that's right.
It was the aerospace engineer. It looked like a little grandmother.
Yeah.
And the reason that we found
the
reason I found out that she was an aerospace engineer, right, Pat, was because I was talking to her about how I heard about the NGA, and it was blowing my mind that day.
Yeah, I remember.
And she was like, "Oh yeah, the NGA, yada yada," and I was like, "Wait, you know about this?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I was an aerospace engineer," and I was like, "So, what are we using these satellites for?" I was like, "What are we? Some kind of like TV show for extraterrestrials?" And she was like, "That's not a bad theory." And I went, "Are you messing with me right now?"
No, she's not.
She wouldn't tell me much.
Yeah, well, man, you know, NDAs kind of tend to.
She told me that they used the NGA though in those satellites to recover that downed.
Well, if you want to think about it as probably a network of
Ours.
highly advanced hardware and instrumentation around the world that they're able to get into, whether it's satellites, whether it's you know, on ground telescopes or yeah, exactly.
National Whistleblower Association.
Yeah. Grusch is the man. I really, really, really like this guy's, first of all, brave for doing this.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how many people got the balls to come out and be like, yeah, there's legit aliens. It's all real.
Because
we've been doing this for 80 years. We have highly advanced technology that all these people, not only just private governments, but huge corporations have been developing this technology.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've all been, but yeah,
that's what
freaking
wild.
Been for a long time of how it's been going on and developed and
secretly,
and money being siphoned off of budgets and where does $1 trillion go here and $1 billion there? You know, I mean, come on, man, it's wild.
So there you go. I mean, that's from without this being a 3-hour show or a deep dive, you know, covering some of the number one, David Grusch's background. And how he is highly credible, I think couldn't be talked about more, in my opinion.
Sounds like
because that's always been the thing that they'll discredit someone in the media and ruin their lives. There's a lot of number one. This whistleblower act that was passed a few months back is using that legally to protect himself. It's also the first time anybody's been able to come out.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, there's never been protections like this.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not in this deep, super secret.
Maybe they're trying to ease that road and pathway for those people to get out.
Yeah, and that's what's happening.
Start talking about it.
And if anybody else has any more information on this and we need to add to it in another Strange Happenings, please let us know.
I mean, come on.
Facebook group, drop us links in the Strange Road Hitchhikers group.
What does TSA always say? See something, say something.
That's the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
That is see something, say something.
Well, I'm sure they're seeing a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Start saying something.
Yep.
Turds. Well, it's that whole hypocrisy thing again.
Right, but people are afraid. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to.
Who's afraid? I think if there's a Cold War, yeah.
I mean, David Grusch, everybody in the world knows this guy. His whole family's going to be looked at under a microscope.
Oh, I'm not saying, I didn't mean I wasn't thinking.
Who are you calling the turd? Not whistleblowers or people
no. Surely not him. Oh, yeah, duh. No, what I'm saying is, like, of course, like, get it out there. Get done with it. What's the problem? Why has everybody been...
The problem is they haven't had protection to come out and say it.
No. Not them.
Who?
With the governments at large. You guys are all doing this secret Cold War and fighting with your recovered UAPs to be the top of the pyramid of this planet so you can fight. We've got aliens flying in with UFOs that you're getting the benefit of recovering.
How about if we don't make peace, they're going to,
This is what I'm saying. Like, are we this stupid? Oh, we got to be the first so we can rule the planet.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Off-world technology.
Find a new hobby.
That's not a hobby. It's
like a giant
trillion
giant playground.
Arms race.
It doesn't matter if there are real aliens with UFOs.
Arms races.
It doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Your Big, strong weapons are the result of somebody else getting careless and shot down by you, or possibly wrecking here. You didn't even invent it.
Them down.
Well, that's great, but you didn't invent all the other technology, right? I'm doing devil's advocate, as if you were the government and I'm the ET representative. Like, what do you think's going to happen after a while? I think we're going to get smoked. Well, maybe this has happened in the past. Maybe that's why there is all the talk about, we've been on the planet and we've been here and died off and respawned, because maybe we do get to that level. The aliens are like, hey, finally, like, we're trying to invite you guys in. And we're
either
like,
move on to the next stage of
or they nuke us,
of evolution of consciousness, or, there's got to be some kind of planetary resolve. We'll give you all the free energy. We'll give you all of the replicator technology and all these things that it seems like to me now they're admitting is real.
Yeah.
The way the atoms are arranged in some of these materials, it's just like technology. It's
Is that a mustache on your chin, Bub? No, it wouldn't be on my chin if it's a mustache, but
we were just having a conversation about Bub's new mustache and soul patch and goatee.
What did I say? It's like a 3-piece suit. Oh yeah, is that a mustache on your chin? Nope, I have a mustache on my lip.
Bub reads the YouTube comments to himself for some reason. You never read them out.
I don't ever think about reading them out loud. Yeah, I guess. Sorry about that.
But real quick, we want to just touch on Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
Hey,
passed away a couple weekends ago.
Fairly big storyline.
And the Unabomber's been kind of an interest. There's a lot of series, a lot of documentaries out there about the Unabomber. And, the ones that have recently come out in the last few years is always have a little bit of an element of Ted Kaczynski being part of some kind of mind control experiment when he was going to Harvard. And so this is a Washington Post article. This isn't like, I guess you could consider some kind of tabloid newspaper.
Yeah.
One of the major journalistic they've had a rough few years, though, having some fake stories out there recently. Yeah. But before he was, and this is by Brian Patesh, before he was the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski a mind-controlled test subject. And so you have Kaczynski, who basically when he was 16 years old, he was at Harvard. He'd skipped 2 grades early on and then his 11th grade year. So he's in college with all these adults.
He's really smart.
He's pretty much like a freshman or sophomore, and had a lot of problems associating and meeting friends and was very awkward.
Dude, how the hell do you make friends in college when you're 16? I can't make. I couldn't.
That's why it was even harder.
I wouldn't be able to make friends in high school if I was 11.
High school, he was a kid. He was, think about it. He's at that point, he's probably 13 and 14 and 15 when he's in high school.
Yeah.
A big Ted Kaczynski, when he was a child, his mother always said he came down with an illness when he was a baby, and they had basically like 7 or 14 days, a good amount of time, where no one picked him up because of the contagion or whatever it was. This treatment
just freaked him out.
Required his mother, his father. No one could hold him. No one could. Even skin-to-skin contact when you're a baby is so important for the development of that, the nervous system and that child's emotional connection to their parent. And he didn't get that. His mother said he would not look her in the eye, whereas before he's a happy, laughing baby. And when she brought him home from the hospital, he would not look at her in the eye. And instantly she thought, this is a totally different kid. This is not my baby. So from that point on, he grows up, and as he gets older and older, he retreats back into himself.
Right.
But he was already an awkward kid, having issues, having
like he had not
going into Harvard, he had problems. Then he gets under the tutelage of this psychiatrist and starts building him up. They essentially. Now it's come out that there was this program at Harvard,
right?
Project Avocado, which was under the umbrella of mkultra. It's some of these things have not been verified in terms of documents, but there's a lot of evidence, and as far as like people that were associated with these projects, people throughout the years that have corroborated things that Kaczynski has said, including the psychiatrist that was a part of this.
Oh yeah.
And so This psychiatrist was Henry Murray, and he was backed by the CIA. The thing is that that's what they do have. They know that Henry Murray was a part of or on the payroll of the CIA. Because, again, a lot of these documents and things came out on another Central Intelligence Committee from Congress. This is the UFO thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
This happened, big blowout Senate hearings about mkultra in the 1970s. All these projects started coming out, and all these documents were released, some of them heavily redacted. But people think mkultra is this conspiracy theory. No. It's a highly documented, out in the public operation that was real. And this Henry Murray was one of the people on the payroll. And so, he's running experiments at Harvard. Some people think Timothy Leary, maybe because he was doing LSD experiments as well at Harvard. But they would essentially, these programs under mkultra using LSD. They were also, in one of the documentaries, they portrayed Ted Kaczynski having his eyelids opened, or where they have that device that keeps your eyes open, and they're showing him these videos over and over again. But this psychiatrist would build him up and feed into his ideas and give him all this attention. And you're 16 years old. This professor's going, "Oh my gosh, your ideas could change the world. You're so amazing. You're this advanced mathematician. And what you're saying is incredible." And then 2 weeks later, he's taking him down. "You're a piece of garbage. Your ideas are garbage. You're a garbage human being." They sit him in this chair. They show him all these weird videos and open his eyes and apparently dose him with LSD and completely destroy this guy's, who he is as a person.
Okay.
And he's so young.
Okay.
And so as an adult, it's really, anybody would be affected by this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's well established.
But this guy basically says one of these retired Richard Helms was basically the director of the CIA in 73, and said essentially Alton Chase, this professor, said, "We created the Unabomber."
Sure. But I mean, that's kind of like the Hunter S. Thompson thing of, not as severe, but somebody once wrote Hunter S. Thompson for some advice or suggestion on how to do this or how to do that. I don't know if it's on being a journalist or a musician, and Hunter wouldn't give him advice.
Yeah.
He said, and I understood the point of view was I might give you encouragement to go out and do this thing.
Yeah.
And then you might go do it. And then you might get to a point where I hate what you become, and I'll have had a hand in that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give you any advice. You figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying with this, you're talking about you can create it. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
But then they would build him back up and tear him right back down.
Yeah.
And just that constant, this program lasted 3 years where in his spare time he just kept coming back. But
why did he go to this program?
Because he looked up to this psychiatrist, had him brainwashed into wanting to come. Because like I said, he kept building him up. Then he'd lure him back in as another, hey, we're going to do this experiment now.
See, I kind of like to think
they would barrage him with sound. They would barrage him with visuals.
Pretty good at knowing what I'm getting screwed with.
But when you're 16, that's what I said. It's hard to think of that now as an adult when we were 16, we were morons. I mean, I'm not saying
I was, but I don't think I would want to come back and hang out with somebody that's berating.
But he already had emotional issues and couldn't connect with people. He was the perfect person. He was the perfect person for them to bring into this.
Maybe,
I don't
totally
know. Scramble your brain.
I think I would just stay isolationary.
You don't really know. I mean, until you're in a 16-year-old at college, you have no friends. The only person that's talking to you is this weird psychiatrist guy.
Yeah.
That's a front for the CIA.
Yeah.
But there you go. Ted Kaczynski.
Some strange
the Unabomber. He apparently committed suicide, but he was battling cancer, so I don't know.
You want to know a crazy little anecdote?
Always.
I won't say who it was, but a friend of mine, when I was watching the Unabomber, that docu-series or whatever it was, or even maybe the dramatization of the detective catching him and stuff, I was talking about that, and my friend was like, "Oh yeah, one of my friend's parents was hit by him."
Really?
Yeah.
He was one of the bomb victims. Yeah. There was all universities that he was targeting.
Well, not just that. He was targeting universities and
laboratories.
Airlines.
Yep.
He was targeting environmentalist groups that were bad for the environment. Not environmentalist groups, but companies that their environmental practices were very harmful.
And I hate to say it, but if you've read any of, just out of curiosity, the Unabomber's manifesto, I mean, that dude, it's like, did he write this in 2023 of all the thing that's happening environmentally? It's crazy.
Oh, his manifesto?
Yeah. All the things that he talked about that are kind of true now.
Well, which
is weird.
You know the whole reason he wouldn't plead insane, too.
Yeah, because he was of right mind.
Because he was like, that's the whole thing. Like, if he pleads insane, his manifesto's garbage,
right?
And it would have had no impact. And so he's like, I have no recourse but to plead guilty because I want my manifesto to stand.
Yeah.
It's
some wild stuff. I've read some of it.
Yeah.
I felt weird reading it, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
But I mean,
reading it? I didn't feel weird reading it necessarily. I mean, I guess you do feel strange because
you're like,
there's
I
an
don't want to buy in. You don't want to buy into it.
Well, I think you feel guilt by association.
Or agree with what he's saying.
Right. That's the whole thing.
problem.
Right.
Do you want to agree with the Unabomber and be that guy? Like, oh yeah, he was so right about everything.
I mean,
like,
we
all
could
the
really
environmental stuff.
But we could really devolve there and say, I mean, do you like listening to Thriller?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
Sorry.
So.
Yeah.
Maybe you can like his manifesto, but not how he was trying to deliver his message.
Yeah. Well, and that's what the major thing is. He's a coward because in order to get his publication, he had to go around and start bombing all these people. But if you look at the targets and look into that, that's an interesting deep dive that I personally have just dug into a little bit. But if you look at the people and the universities and the laboratories and how they were all connected with things that have kind of popped up now, like the stuff that Epstein was funding, those scientific research organizations, those groups through MIT, some of those people might be connected with.
Maybe some of those people were actually working on old Teddy back in the day and have still been there.
Well, those groups.
What if those programs never really stopped and they've always just been going on and they just got more weird and crazy and just
genetics lab is one of them.
A little bit more strange every day.
The University of Illinois, which has a really, really advanced engineering and robotics laboratory, that was one of the places. Northwestern University. But
I got to say, this has been strange.
This has been a strange one.
I feel strange even.
Yeah, I think
I usually don't.
Because I don't think you realize the brevity of some of these things that have been happening.
Yeah. I usually don't feel this odd after a show. I'm like, oh, that's cool. We just talked about stuff we always talk about. But I think I'm so used to like almost feeling desensitized to strange things because that's all I deal in. I always say like I don't have a shallow end of the pool. Like I'm just swimming in the deep part of my mind all the time. But I think this actually might have unlocked a deeper area. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's also just that excitement that I've held reserved in my mind for so long because I'm like, every time I think something big is going to come out, or we're really going to get confirmation of this, or we're going to understand whatever it is that everybody's been looking for, JFK, or what's under the Sphinx's paw, or what's in Antarctica, or is there a pyramid up here? All kinds of stuff.
The stuff in
like
Antarctica, we didn't even talk about that.
What?
All the weird sounds that are being, the Antarctica stuff from like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
That's part of this too. That kind of slipped through the cracks as well.
Well, and there's
weren't
also
they recording some weird sound or something coming from deep under Antarctica?
I think that there was like a green light recently that was seen down there. Somebody said it might be lightning.
There's too much. Strange.
But also, this is an interesting take. I'm sure everybody. Well, I say that because I'm aware of it, but maybe you're not aware of it. But the submarine that's currently possibly stuck in the Titanic.
Yes.
The billionaire-funded video game remote-controlled Logitech. Right. Did you know?
If you look at
did you know that just knowing that a Logitech controller was controlling that sub? Hold on, that was is what controls that sub. Yeah. And if that sub potentially goes missing,
there's missing.
There's stock. No, I'm saying if we don't ever find it, or if they really do. I'm sorry. Let me just get this point. That affected their stock. Today on the stock exchange.
Yeah, for sure.
Logitech dropped like I don't know how many percent points because But this guy is a billionaire building a sub.
But dude, that sub had no business being down
camping
there.
world gear.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I was like really shocked on the one Twitter post I saw where like somebody was actually.
Well, the only way to see anything is through a camera.
It was him.
It's a camera. So when they're going down,
no. They have
have a window, sure.
That's not rated for the atmospheric pressure that they're at. It's only rated for like 1,400 meters.
It's down there, deep.
Or 14, whatever it is, 1,400. It's supposed to go to 4,000.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. I don't know if
they get hung up on some wires and got stuck in their prop.
Sorry, but just what I did with that story, that's what the whole other undertone is, that people are like, is that a look over here story?
Oh, okay.
And, you know, they'll find them and they pop up, or who knows, whatever.
Yeah.
But is that a distraction from what's going on right now with maybe Grusch, with maybe that Las Vegas thing? Who knows?
Well, we'll see. It's all unfolding. It's still
That's what
unfolding.
I'm saying. I feel as strange as I've ever felt. There was a lot on Twitter the other day, too, of the Schumann resonance of the Earth frequency being just like this weird geometric pattern. I don't know if that was BS or if that was real.
No, who was just telling us about that?
I don't know. But the Schumann resonance. If you don't know what the Schumann resonance is, you can look that up as well. The Schumann resonance is the actual hum of the Earth as we're turning, I believe. Right? Like we're moving and spinning, and that creates a vibration, and there's an actual sound that is reverberating throughout all of the planet right now.
But in the last week, that sound has changed.
The frequency
been stable.
is
the Schumann resonance
cymatics of it's got very
has
strange.
Been the same for like 30 years. They've been, looking at this thing.
Yeah.
And
you can look it up on Twitter. You can follow it.
Now it's emitting some kind of like crazy sacred geometry pattern.
That's what I'm saying. It was wild.
When they're bringing it into like a simoscope, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I need to look more into that.
It's cool.
God, who was I just talking to?
Isn't that wild? And it's the solstice.
And it wasn't you either. It was somebody else.
Yeah. There's just a lot happening.
The solstice. Happy solstice, everyone.
I feel a lot of energy for this weekend.
It's the first day of the summer. And great. I did Mopar Phil. Again, guys, there is no camping out at the event. Jeff and Delcy kind of mentioned that in the episode we did last Thursday with them. It got a little too crazy for them over the years when they had people camping over. Drum circles got a little wild.
Yeah.
So, looking into accommodations, there's the Woodland Altars. There's hotels in Waverly. There's Airbnbs. There are accommodations in the Adams County area. Go check that out. Or just come out for the day. Come out in the morning, and when the event's over, every night it's over at 7:00.
Yeah.
Except Sunday, I think it closes at 6. So those are the hours. SerpentMountain.org. Check out everything that you need to know for the event. We're going to be out there again at 2 p.m. doing a live podcast.
Say hi.
And that's going to be a good time. We're doing an episode with Jeffrey Wilson on the Serpent Mountain Crop Circle.
I'm so excited
and
about
Bub
that
just
one.
found out about that today.
Yeah.
So
pretty stoked.
And you guys can find us on social media platforms. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at The Strange Road. We have a Facebook group, Strange Road Hitchhikers. Go hop in there, say what's up. We are very, very close. Discord, I know we say that all the time, but the Discord, we at least have an account made.
Yeah.
We have an account made. Got to get some channels and start sharing the link.
Yeah, there's always a lot to do here.
Yep. So we're chipping away at some of this.
Guys.
Yeah, we love all you guys. You guys are the best. And please share this video if you're listening. Give us a 5-star review, and like this video here on YouTube, and subscribe if you're not already. We appreciate the hell out of all you guys in the chat. Anybody listening and watching, you guys are the best. Maybe we'll see you this weekend.
Stoner the Loner.
Stoner the Loner.
Killed it tonight.
Is out as well.
No hitches, no glitches. There he is.
Nope.
There he is.
Those orcas
Mother
are badass.
control. That's right. And I also wanted to say to Necro, okay, I do remember seeing something about that as well as that Antarctica is like
Sounds
an
like a whale call.
intergalactic hub for space travel.
Right.
Like they have this like beam that they shoot into the atmosphere.
That's what it was.
That's it. That's it.
Damn it. I was mixing up the sound conversation with Antarctica.
Yeah.
You're right, Necro.
Necro's on it.
We didn't even get to talk about that. And that's a whole
Bye, Nancy.
Whole nother thing.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Peace. That was fun.
We didn't talk.
That was good.
That was a good show.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Fun.
That was good.
Good energy.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. Dude. Not just that. Not doing a strange happening after.